In this video, we'll explore the nature of the risks in our two case studies. Let's begin with the aquatic nuisance species and a reminder that the language of risk is very messy. Here, the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, calls the hazard aquatic invasive species. So the hazard itself, the thing that can cause harm, are these aquatic nuisance species or aquatic invasive species. Here are a couple examples provided by the Aquatic Nuisance Species Task Force. NOAA, in the table in front of you, identifies some of the types of impacts that these aquatic nuisance species can have. They are generally divided into economic impacts, environmental impacts, and usually some category of other impacts. In this case, we're looking at wildlife and public health impacts, but it could just as easily be social, political, or any other kind of means. When we talk about risk, we need a hazard, we need a consequence. We also need to know the sequence of events that's necessary for these consequences to occur. And although we don't get into the details here, this NOAA website describes in some detail how aquatic nuisance species get transported, and of course then how they can become established in new areas. So the risk associated with the GLMRIS study, that's the Great Lakes Mississippi River Interbasin Study, would be the damages that can be caused by aquatic nuisance species. We're also going to be looking at Vibrio, Parahemolyticus, and Oysters. And here the Centers for Disease Control provides a nice summary. Vibrio Parahemolyticus is a bacteria, and it is the hazard. The types of illness it can cause: watery diarrhea, abdominal cramping, nausea, vomiting, fever, and chills. These are the adverse consequences, the adverse outcomes of exposure to Vibrio Parahemolyticus. What is the sequence of events that's necessary for these consequences to occur? CDC offers some suggestions here as well. Most people become infected by eating raw or undercooked shellfish, particularly oysters. So it's very important when you are dealing with a risk management issue to begin by being very clear about the nature of the risk itself.